What's up, everyone? It's me, your host, Ray. Today, I'm going to give you a quick tour of my scale model collection. This is something that I've been meaning to do for years now at this point, and you guys have been asking me for just as long, so it's about time I finally get to it. This is going to be a very fast-paced video because I will not talk about any of the models that you see here today in any level of detail. I'm doing this to save time because if I were to talk about each model individually, this video would be well over 5 hours long, and I honestly don't have the breath to do that. Of course, if you want to see a detailed video about any of the models or a group of models that you see here today, please check out my channel because chances are the model that you are interested in already has a video, and if not, you can request it down below in the comments and I can get that started for you as soon as I can. So we're going to start this tour in my bedroom where I have the highest concentration of scale models out on display. First, we'll start here on my dresser. I have two sections of my aerospace collection. On the left, I have what I call the Top Gun department, which contains scale replicas of the airplanes from both Top Gun movies. So here it is. I've got 5 models here. 4 out of the 5 are 1 to 72nd scale. The outlier here is the Dark Star, which is 1 to 100 scale. And I also have a few pieces of memorabilia, some keychains. Here's the one for Maverick's F-18 Super Hornet from Top Gun Maverick. And then here's one for the Dark Star, also from Top Gun Maverick. I have detailed videos about every single one of these models. These are grouped together in a playlist called the Top Gun Scale Models playlist. You can access this playlist on the playlist section of my YouTube channel. On the other side, I have part of what I call my space collection. In reality, it's just the NASA collection. Got my giant space shuttle. This is a plastic building kit that I built in 2023. This is a replica of the Pathfinder space shuttle from the For All Mankind TV show. This is 1 to 100 scale. 2 747s here, both 1 to 200 scale. This one is the Sophia. It's a stratospheric observatory for infrared astronomy. This is from In-Flight 200, pre-built diecast. Also came with this really cool looking keychain. And then the other one is a plastic building kit made by Hasegawa. Built that one in 2023 as well. Below that is a T-38 operated by NASA. This is a Hobby Master 1 to 72nd scale. And then this is a Dragon Model 1 to 400 scale replica of the Space Shuttle Columbia. Here's a patch that's a reference to the Highwayman song. One of the lyrics says, "Across the universe divide," and in the official music video, instead of showing a spaceship, as the lyrics imply, it shows footage of the F-20 Tiger Shark, which is the successor to the F-5 Tiger II. So that's why this patch was made, and it looks pretty cool. And up there, that's the mission patch for Pathfinder's first mission in the For All Mankind TV show. So that's what's on my dresser. And above that, we have a pretty large picture of the DC-3. I've had this for a while, and it's been a little bit stained since we moved it, but it's doing quite well. And you can see me in the reflection there. Hello. Moving over onto my bed, these aren't really scale models. These are just souvenirs from SpaceX. This is the Starman plush, and then the Flight 6 banana plush. Yeah, I like space stuff, so it's kind of funny how I have this. Also not really scale model related, but still kind of relevant. These are 2 drawings I got from my trip to Pearl Harbor in Hawaii. These are World War II warbirds. This is the P-47 Thunderbolt and the F-4U Corsair. Alright, so the main attraction in my room is my display case. I got this in May of 2025. It was quite a hassle to set up, but I'm very grateful for it, and I'm very happy with the way it turned out. Oh, hey, look, you can see me. Hello. Alright, so starting up here is a plush squirrel that my family gave me because I like feeding squirrels. Here are 2 1 to 200 scale 747s. This one's made by KJ Model. This is made by Gemini 200. This is a replica of the first 747 ever built, and then here is a replica of the last 747 ever built. So that's my Queen of the Skies area. Below those 2, I have several military aircraft, modern at least. All of these are 1 to 72nd scale, with the exception of this small FA-18E Super Hornet right there. That's 1 to 144th scale. So yeah, A-10 Thunderbolt 2, FA-18F Super Hornet, FA-18E, another FA-18E, F-15C, and the F-35 Lightning II. All of these are pre-built die-cast with the exception of the F-35 here. This is the Tamiya kit that I built in December of 2024 and January of 2025. Behind all of these models, I have two hopefully inert bullets. This one is the one that I suspect it has a very small chance of being live, but probably not. It's a 30mm round fired by the GAU-8 Avenger cannon that is carried by the A-10 Thunderbolt II. And then the tag there is the tag from the A-10 demo team from when I went to go see them in April of 2024. And on the other side, I just have an inert 20mm bullet here. Not sure exactly which cannon this will be fired out of, but it's there. Below the military aircraft, we have more of my space collection. This time it contains entirely space vehicles, so there's a 1:200 scale Saturn V plastic building kit by AMT, 1:200 scale space launch system, another plastic building kit made by AMT. The larger space shuttles here, those are 1:200 scale Hasegawa kits, built those both in 2023, and the smaller ones here are pre-built die-cast models made by Postage Stamp. The space shuttles here are the 5 space shuttles that went to space as part of the space shuttle program, and below them are each of their final mission patches. And next to these two small ones are souvenirs from when I went to go see them in their museums. Last but not least, the Hubble Space Telescope right here is a 1:200 scale kit by Hasegawa. I built this because it came with this space shuttle right here. And also here is a patch for the space shuttle program. Below the second part of the space collection is my armored fighting vehicle collection, or better known as tanks. For quite a bit of time I built these, but recently I haven't really built any. The last one I built was in 2021, and that's that one right there. So the big ones you see here, these are all 1/35 scale. I built the three big ones here in 2018, and then this one here built in 2021. Or no, sorry, 2020. That one was 2021, and then that green, yellow, and brown one, that's an outlier because that's 1/72 scale, but I built that in 2017. And this big gray one right here I built in 2020 as well. Alright, and then the smaller ones are 1/72 scale. This one I built in, I think, 2017. It's a Hasegawa kit. These are two pre-built die-cast ones, a Jagdpanzer IV and the Sturmpanzer IV. And then this here is actually quite rare, VK28.01. I built this one in 2017, I think it was. And then armored fighting vehicle, and here I'll actually talk about this in a minute. That is something I do want to spend time talking about. And then two more 1/72 scale tanks. The one on the left I built, and the one on the right is a pre-built die-cast model. Or not die-cast, but plastic model made by Dragon Model. Now, the reason I skipped over this is because this is actually rather sentimental to me, and it's a very serious part of my collection. So the armored fighting vehicle here, I'm not exactly sure where this is from or what model it is, but my good friend who visited Poland in 2018 brought this back for me, as well as this here. This is a soldier boy from the looks of it, and on the pedestal he's standing on it says Warszawa, which translates to Warsaw, which is a city in Poland. And this here is it's a lot more ominous and it's a lot more serious. Those pebbles that you see in there are pebbles that came off of the walls of one of the buildings at the Auschwitz-Birkenau concentration camp. I've had these in my collection since my friend came back from Poland in 2018, and I keep these as an authentic reminder of one of the most horrifying times in human history. It's terrible to talk about, it's terrible to remember, but it's important that we do remember, because if we don't, we're bound to repeat our history. So that's why I have those there. Alright, so that was my tanks section. Below that is the mass notification section. For quite a while, I built several scale model mass notification equipment, if you will. Tornado sirens, better yet. No, that's what we call them in the Midwest, or air raid sirens, what have you, but just the loud noise-making things. I suppose we can just call them that. So I haven't built any of these for a while either. The last one I built was in 2022, and I believe it was that one there. Yeah, that's my replica of a Thunderbolt 1000, now 1000T, that stands in Lombard, Illinois. And I actually got to go hear this one operate for two First Tuesday tests, one in March of 2022 and one in June of 2025. So Yeah, it's pretty. And I've also heard it operate for several weekly tests, because they do some weekly tests here in Illinois. But yeah, here's the collection. I'm pretty sure all of these have videos for them, so if you want to learn more about each of them, feel free to watch. Feel free to check out my channel to watch those. Just you will have to scroll for a little bit because I haven't posted about these in a while. Now over here is something I would like to talk about. There are 6 of these little Thunderbolt sirens. That's what they're called, the ones with the square horns. Those are the 6 Thunderbolt sirens I'm referring to comprise what I call my Evanston collection, because they are scale replicas of the 6 Thunderbolt sirens that stood in Evanston, Illinois. The reason I chose those are because those were the last remaining air raid sirens from Chicago's civil defense air raid siren network from the 1950s. And they actually lasted until 2020, so that is a very long time for these sirens to be in service. So over there, I'll just talk about each of them individually, even though I said I wouldn't, but this is just too... I feel like doing it anyway. So that one there is a replica of the Thunderbolt 1000T that stood at 1454 Elmwood Avenue. That's the Fire and Police Headquarters in Evanston, Illinois. I got to see this one operate for the first Tuesday on June 2nd of 2019. This is a replica of the Thunderbolt 1000 that stood at 702 Madison Street, Evanston Fire Station 2 in Evanston, Illinois. I got to see this one operate on August 6th of 2019. This is a replica of the Thunderbolt 1000 that stood... Here, let me try and move the camera this way so you can see it better. That stood at 1918 Lake Street. It stood on top of a power plant, and I never got to hear this one operate for a first Tuesday test. This one actually had a broken air compressor. That's that big box right there. This one had a broken air compressor for more than a decade before it was removed, so it was just plagued with issues. Now we'll go to the pole-mounted ones. This is a replica of the Thunderbolt 1000 that stood at 2830 Central Street. Sorry about that. Evanston Fire Station 5. Never got to hear this one operate for a test, and it was the first one that was removed and replaced in January of 2020. Now, someone out there, actually the individual on this business card here, they actually managed to go out to the removal, and they preserved the information tag that was on the siren for me. Now, this information tag has the siren serial number, which I'll try to zoom in on it as best I can, but that's it right there. If you read it, it says T636. So that makes this one the 636th Thunderbolt ever built, and using other serial numbers with confirmed installation and manufacturing dates, this one was manufactured in about 1954. This one here is a replica of the Thunderbolt 1000T that stood at 1817 Washington Street, Evanston Fire Station 4. I got to hear this one operate on November 6th of 2018, and also in the distance on August 6th of 2019. This one was the first Thunderbolt siren I ever heard up close in person. It was a really amazing test for me. It's a good memory for me, and it's my favorite Thunderbolt siren, so I was pretty sad when it was removed, but the show must go on. And this here is a replica of the tag that was on the siren. Unfortunately, no one was able to save this one, but we did get the serial number using cameras, so there's the serial number T485, installed in April of 1954. Last but not least in the Evanston collection is this one right here. It's a replica of the Thunderbolt 1000 that stood at 1106 Central Street behind Evanston Fire Station 3. This one I got to hear operate on April 2nd of 2019. Now we have moved out of my bedroom and we are on the main floor of the house. And here is the second display case. This contains pretty much all of my 1 to 200 scale die-cast model airliners, as well as a few other things. But most of these models, with the exception of 3, are all 1 to 200 scale. The 3 that are exceptions are this one right here. This is 1 to 72nd scale, and these two right here are 1 to 400 scale. You guys have seen most of these, but not all of these, so I'll just show you each of the different sections really quick. So, what's going on over there? Sorry about that. I have a bunch of appliances running. All right, so anyway. Here's this one, or these two models. United 767, United 787-10, 777-300ER, 737 MAX 8 and 757-200, two 737-700s, an A319 and an A320 Sharklets, Air Force One 747 VC-25 and FA-18E Super Hornet. It's made by JC Wings, and it's the one from Top Gun Maverick. Below that, I've got several here. This is A320, a replica of the A320 involved in the Miracle on the Hudson incident, which took place in January of 2009. A321neo, 7879, 737 MAX 10. Several bananas here, A319, A320, A320neo, A321neo. Southwest 737s, that's an 800, a MAX 8, and another MAX 8 in the Mua 1 special livery. United Airbuses, all in flight 200, A319, A320, and A321neo. Hawaiian A330-200 from my trip to Hawaii, same trip where I got my pictures from Pearl Harbor, or the drawings that I mentioned earlier. A319 and two E175s. Airbus A350-1000 and an Amerijet Cargo 767-300F. Oh, and I forgot to mention up here, here's the big guy. It is an Antonov 225. It's a pretty darn big model. Weighs, I think, almost 2 kilograms. So that's about it for the scale models on display. The rest of them I have in storage because I just don't really have enough space for them. And for my airline collectors, or my airplane collectors, this is where I have pretty much all of my 1-400 scale collection. They're in their boxes right now in storage because when I moved houses, unfortunately, I was unable to bring my airport, so I had to dispose of it. And besides, the airport was getting really old. I still have all of the buildings, I just don't have the mats, so that's why these aren't out on display anywhere, and because I just don't have room for them right now. But I can assure you, they're in good condition, they're in a safe place in these boxes, and I review them every once in a while if you guys ask for them. Yeah, here are a few other boxes where I have models. These are boxes of the models I want to sell, and there's a bunch of shipping supplies because I sold a few on eBay here and there. But yeah, that's about it. I would show you my workbench and my desk where I do my reviews and stuff, but my basement actually flooded last night, so it looks like a mess over there, and it's in no condition to be put in a video for the time being. So fortunately I can't do that, but there's really not any models that you guys need to see over there. Well, that's my scale model collection as it is right now. Again, if you have any questions about models, feel free to ask. If you want to see a detailed video about any of the models, check my channel first, and if I don't have a video on it, then please ask in the comments below, and I can start working on that as soon as I can. Well, that's all I've got for today. Thanks for watching. As always, if you have questions or feedback, be sure to leave a comment below. If you're new to the channel and you want to show some support, like this video and subscribe so you never miss another upload. While you're here, feel free to check out my other videos about the scale models I collect. Happy building, happy collecting. Please take good care of yourselves, and I'll see you next time.